Quebec Education Minister issues directive banning religious practices in public schools.
Here's a summary of the article.
Education Minister Bernard Drainville formally banned all religious activities in schools, vocational training centers and adult education centers after issuing a directive early Wednesday evening. Under the directive, all institutions governed by the Education Act will have to ensure that no place is used, in fact or in appearance, for religious practices such as overt prayers or other similar practices. The directive also said that the Loi sur la laïcité de l'État requires that school service centers respect the separation of the state and religions and that the development of places used for religious purposes is contrary to the spirit of the law. This follows the unanimous adoption of a motion in the National Assembly on April 5 that the establishment of places of prayer, regardless of denomination, on the premises of a public school is contrary to the principle of secularism. Minister Drainville committed to issuing a directive to this effect on the same day. At the beginning of April, I was made aware of various prayer practices taking place in certain public schools in Quebec, said Drainville in a short statement on Twitter accompanying his directive. In order to preserve the secular character of public schools, I am therefore issuing a directive today regarding religious practices in our public schools, vocational training centers and adult education centers. Schools are places of learning, not worship.
This post received a score of 15,000, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
It's amazing that Quebec went from a place where pretty much every school was administered by the church to this in like 60 years or so.
It was called the Quiet Revolution.
Quebec has quietly quit church.
But we still swear by naming random holy objects. Hostie de Christ de Tabarnak.
Moi je reste, Saint Julie, je passe par Saint Bruno tous les jours pour aller travailler. Saint Leonard, le week-end en VA. La plage, Saint Zotique, on prend le boulevard Notre-Dame pour ensuite Turner. Gauche sur Street Jean-Baptiste, on Enver Plus, de la Religion.
T'imagines d'ailleurs, à autrement, je reste dans Julie, je passe par Bruno pour aller travailler dans L. Onard South que je dois passer sur Dame et Turner? Gauche sur Baptiste.
Well, there are literally thousands of streets and towns named after the last names of famous historical figures. Nothing odd about that to me.
You know, if it's as common elsewhere as it is here, like that guy above said, with the «st» prefix or translated equivalent. Back where I come from we hear it here and there, but way less than here in Montreal. Every other F-king thing is a saint or some church reference.
Don't worry, in Spain it's the same. Half the villages have San Saint in Spanish in front of their name, or are named after some religious figure, saint. Although you quickly end up ignoring it, since it's so common.
Quebec fought so hard to get the Catholic out of schools. No point in letting anything else in.
Premier Fran. OIS Legault. Same guy that passed this bill. Oh, and the same guy. When asked about the Catholic crucifix hanging in the center of the legislature. I don't buy that "they don't like Catholicism" thing. The people fighting hardest for secularism seem to like their Catholic history very much, and want to keep all of its symbols around. It's just suspiciously these Muslim, Sikh and Jewish symbols and public displays of religion they want to eliminate.
Yeah, Lego is full of shit. But if this is what finally gets every last remnant of the Catholic Church out of government and education, then fuck it, he'll have done the right thing by accident. It works out the same for me in the end.
I dunno how often governments wander into good outcomes with bad intentions.
Prayer rooms, setting aside additional time to pray for students, or does it also include the school actively stopping the students from engaging in personal religious practices? As an example, there are students who will sit at their desk and prior to eating their lunch engage in personal prayer. Or students may ask to step outside the classroom to engage in prayer during lunch. The latter is getting uncomfortably close to policing students themselves instead of just the school and workers of the school. At what point does Quebec reach France levels and disallows students wearing hijabs to attend public schools?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.